there's nothing. Me. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Auto Alex V2 channel. Now today is a very, very special day for me. More special than any video we've done today. And that is because I am joined by Benedict Fowler. What is your podcast, Ben?
Road to Success official podcast, which they have all been on, the boys, other than the man holding the camera.
Rory.
So you need to make sure that...
Yeah.
You can't make me.
So Ben, you run Road to Success podcast.
I certainly do. I turn up in the van and ask people to get in the back of it.
You do, and you've interviewed some really, really cool people this year, and it's been really successful for you. And you've also recently set up Gert Wings as well.
I've recently invested into Gert Wings, which is a street food chicken business. We now operate across the southwest, and these boys are rather excited because one is opening in Reading as a fixed location.
So we're going to eat a lot.
Just outside of here. They don't exist.
Well, anyway, you've been very successful, and as a result, you've been in a position to buy my dream car. So the fact that today is so special is not because Ben's here. It's because you brought along my literal dream car, which is behind me, and I'm speechless because I want to pass away. What it is a 1989 Porsche 911 930 Turbo. Look at that. I cannot explain how happy I am. You mentioned bringing this car over a little while ago and I nearly fell over. My knees were knocking. So Ben, what can you tell me about this car?
Well, I can tell you the story quickly of how I actually got it.
Okay.
So I know nothing about classics. I'd never driven a classic, and I normally like modern stuff. That's what people see me in.
Yeah.
I got extremely drunk at a motor show in Belgium.
Right.
The GR8 show. I ended up with a Dachshund sausage dog tattooed on my ankle that day.
Oh my God.
And I fell in love with what I believe to be was a Guards Red 930 Turbo on BBS wheels on this stand, and I stood and looked at it all afternoon. I thought, I've got to have one. I just got to have one. That's the car of my dreams. So I came back to the UK, found one, this car behind me, looking exactly how it does now, and then found out the car I'd actually seen in Belgium wasn't a real 930 Turbo.
Really?
Because of the value of them. Wow. So then I realised I could have saved a lot of money to have the car that I liked by getting one like the guy did in Belgium and then doing the things to it. It had some BBS wheels on it, which is why it's got a Winning Players Classic sticker on it.
Yeah.
It's got an upgraded exhaust called a baller exhaust and a bigger intercooler, but it is a real 930 Turbo, and I have loved it.
So what can you tell me about this particular car? So obviously this is a 1989 911 930 in Guards Red. Is it, what size engine does it have, power output, stuff like that?
I believe it has a...
So fun fact, as I discovered about 10 minutes ago, Ben knows nothing about this car. You've owned it for how long?
2 years.
2 years, and he doesn't know what size engine it's got. So what I can tell you is this is a 1989, which was the last year they made these cars, which means that this has a 3.3 litre turbo. They did do them in 3 litre form as well, but this is a 3.3. Came out the factory, 296 horsepower, so just under 300 horsepower, but this one isn't standard, is it? It's got
a bigger intercooler, different exhaust system,
and you have been informed that it is
toward the 400 range of horsepower. Probably not above it now. I know what the base figure is.
So this is a car from the 1980s that has 400 horsepower.
Apparently.
And is rear-wheel drive. There is a reason that this car back in the 1980s was named the Widowmaker, because they're quite common for being smashed up.
Well, I bought it from a very reputable Porsche dealer in the UK, and it had all the paperwork with it, and I was told that it was around the 400 mark.
Okay.
And you can feel that when you give it some.
So that's very good to know. Looking at it, it looks in absolutely stunning condition. Fair play to you, you've bought a nice one. The wheels, Rory mentioned earlier that he'd prefer these in silver. I actually quite like them in black. I think it looks quite race car.
They call it the outlaw look.
Yes.
The BBSs it was on look stunning, but honestly, I would have died.
I prefer these, These are a lot better. It's got the proper whale tail, which is rubber on the edges.
It moves, it flexes.
It does move and flex. That is so 80s. It's got 4 exhaust pipes, which is just fantastic. That's a bit of a, design of the turbo. There weren't a lot of other Porsches that had that. They usually just have one on that side or 2 on that side.
They actually still do have one on that side, even on the turbo model. But this is a US spec, which then has 2 exhaust exits.
Thank you, Rory, for that piece of information. I feel like an amateur. Thank you very much, Rory. Looking around this
I own
side,
the car and I know nothing.
I can't believe this.
Before we continue, a reminder from me, as ever, that if you want to buy yourself a used car, van or motorbike, always run a car vertical report on it first to ensure it's not being crashed, stolen or clocked. If we take a look at the car vertical report for this Range Rover L322, and in case you haven't seen enough Range Rover L322 content recently on YouTube, then you can see that we've got green ticks for odometer, finance and damage that tells me and you that this car does not have a shady past. And now to give you guys an example of a bad car vertical report, here is a Mercedes-Benz C220. As you can see, green ticks for finance and damage, but an amber warning for odometer. So we want to check that out. Scroll down a little bit, we can see we've got lovely pictures of the car. Doesn't look like it's been in a crash. But then if we have a look at the odometer reading, you can see that there has been a big old rollback. 2023 in January, it had 95,000 miles, and then 1 month later, it was down to 11,000 miles. So this one, not a good one to purchase. So again, don't get stung when buying a used car, van or motorbike. Always run a car vertical report on it first. What's more, you will get 20% off using the code V2. Right then, back to the video.
The arches on this thing are enormous. This has the widest arches that you can get because it's a turbo. It looks massive from behind. It looks really, really large.
When I park it in my bubble, because I do actually really look after this, it goes in the bubble and it goes in and I have to like move around the arch to get down the side of the car because they like stick out so wide.
And I love how wide they are compared to the front. You look down the side of the car and it's really petite and nice, and they're massive wheel arch.
It's so stable at speed though.
Is it?
Like I think they just got the proportions and the arches and the whale tail. It's so stable when it's not windy. When I call it getting a wiggle on. It's fine in the right conditions. And if it's the wrong conditions, not okay.
Well, lucky today isn't a windy day, so we hopefully won't spin out in this. So overall, the way this car looks, I think is just fantastic. It is just so iconic, isn't it? It's just iconic, classic Porsche. I absolutely adore the way this car looks.
I think the thing that people don't realise that can make you love a car even more is the feelings and the clicks and the clonks of it. When you pop the fuel cap over here, which you can do with a little button inside, and it lifts up. What I love is the differences between modern cars. So the fact that this, you have to find a home for this when it's out, like, because it's just there. So you're trying at the pump, but when you...
Oh, this isn't a magnetic
you
one.
thought you had me there,
I had you there.
You didn't. There's no other car, everything feels quite delicate. So it's like...
It's all mechanical. There's not much plastic in this car, is it? It's all metal and it's just fantastic. Do you know what? They don't make them like they used to. That's the perfect saying for that. Even the door handle, you press this little lever here and it clicks.
But listen to the sound. This door is the only door that I've actually had some sort of issue with during the ownership experience. When I hit a pothole once, the entire left window just fell into the door.
Brilliant.
That's one thing. And the door card is semi coming off. But other than that, this has been perfect.
So
I've driven it. I actually drove this car back to the show the next year in Belgium.
Okay, that's really cool.
So it's been driven in Europe too.
So it's actually been a reliable car.
No issues at all.
Cost-wise, have you had to spend much on it?
When I put the BBS wheels on it, I did screw up the torsion bar just a little bit, so I had to have a nice new torsion bar. Right. Luckily, a lad that I knew growing up, who did an apprenticeship at Porsche, Swindon, a main dealer, went and then set up his own 911 Classic Specialist workshop just down the road of me called Lap 911, and it is literally 5 minutes away from my house. It was when I bought this car. Yeah. So it's like I've got its own service centre on its doorstep as well. Yeah.
So now that we got the door open, we'll talk about the interior. I absolutely love this interior, mainly because it's just really simple. Everything's there, all your dials are there in a big row. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this in a Porsche, but they all sit here in a line, but you can see all of them. The steering wheel never really seems to be in the way. They've sort of made it so that the steering wheel lines up with the gaps between the dials.
They're still like it today, aren't they? Even on the digital dashes, it still looks in that format.
Yeah.
But do you sense something or particularly smell something that's not like most cars in here?
Yeah, all Porsches seem to smell the same. It's sort of like burning oil.
it just, to me, it smells like 1989. I wasn't there, but it smells like
Yeah.
what I imagine 1989 to be. And do you think that if you could take this smell and put it into a bottle, you could sell Auto Alex 930 aftershave?
That is a very, very good idea. We don't do Auto Alex aftershave, but we do new Ron t-shirts, and we're doing 10% off. So use the code JAN10 for 10% off of all of our merchandise, including these new t-shirts, which I absolutely love. Moving on to this, I just want to be in here forever. I don't want to move. I love the chairs. These are the Tombstone seats.
But what seats?
Tombstone seats, these are called.
Okay.
That's what they're called.
I've just learned something else.
Okay.
Do you know anything about this car?
But it's Guards Red. It's not Carmine Red, it's Guards Red.
I've never met such a maniac in all my life, do you know that? Moving on to the interior, iconic original steering wheel. A lot of people swap these out. I actually quite like this one.
Yeah.
And it's got the correct horn in it.
It's got the best horn.
The original air horn, which I really
How could
like.
you be angry at anyone with that horn?
You couldn't.
Just imagine, just like, oi, oi, oi!
It's got the original Blaupunkt in it, which is really, really cool. A lot of people swap those out. Again, this is all got the original tape deck in it, which is lovely. And I noticed that you've got Prince tape decks.
I kept some Prince
which is quite funny. That is quite funny.
And there's so many buttons because this was right on that cusp between cars being very classic and becoming modern.
Yeah.
So it's got nothing to help you not die. So it's not got any airbags. It's
Traction
not got
control,
any traction
yeah.
control, any of those things. I've locked up in it twice.
That's
and
quite
thought
scary.
the world was coming to an end. However, what it does have is air conditioning, heated windscreen, electric seats, electric sunroof.
Also, the blower motor switch is in a really weird place. It's down here by the handbrake, which is quite unusual. But
I
also
just
quite
twist
cool.
it until something happens.
So you don't really know what any of it
No.
is. I don't
find that
believe
the windows
this.
and the sunroof are a great form of modulating temperature.
Yeah, that's. So I was just about to move on to the engine, and I said, "Well, should we have a look at the engine?" What did you say?
I don't know. It's no. I don't remember. It's there you go. If you do that then, because
Yeah.
I've seen this before,
You saw me do it earlier.
you've got to move that, otherwise there'll be an issue. And then up she comes.
So now that you've kindly opened the bonnet for us, we can see the 3.3 litre. How many cylinders it got?
6.
It's got 6. Flat 6. I'm just testing you now. This is the larger intercooler that you spoke about.
Yes.
So it's got an uprated intercooler and an uprated exhaust, and it's around 400.
I was
horsepower.
told by JZM Porsche, which is where I bought it from, that is what it was.
Okay. It is an air-cooled flat 6, so it's not got any coolant or anything like that, which is really cool. Dry sump, very, very cool bit of kit. There's not really a lot to see in here. Porsches are pretty much all the same. You open the bonnet, you
a
can't
lot
really
of
see a lot.
plastic on the top.
There's a lot of stuff.
What there is something that I tried to do before, which is
Okay.
check the oil. Now this is through a tube down here to the right. That is a very long tube to get to where it needs to be. And
It is, yeah.
inside it there's a thing, and I accidentally put that thing, it's going to sound amazing this, in the wrong hole for the thing, and it slid down basically into the engine rather than being in the little bit that you hook it into. So I had to get a coat hanger put into the thing to pull it out.
Are you hearing this man? So how do you check the oil, Ben?
I've been here before. Ah, there's the thing.
There's the thing.
Right, now, there's the hole the thing is in is like this.
Yeah. So you pull this out.
And the hole for the filling up the oil is like that. There's not
Here's
a
the
lot
thing,
in there.
right?
There is a gauge on the dash.
How do you check the oil?
Because the gauge
Do you
on,
do it like this?
no, the gauge on the dash tells me
The
if
gauge
it's
on the
low.
dash does tell you, but because it's a dry sump system, I believe you have to check the oil while the engine is running.
Yes, you do.
Up to temperature.
I've been told that.
Yes. So at least you know that.
What,
That's a good
what we
thing.
know is that when you put this away, instead of just dumping it there, it's slide down.
You put it in the small hole.
You put it in there, and then that doesn't happen, which we all learn by doing.
There we go. We learn something new every day. Put it in the smaller hole,
Always put it in the smaller hole.
not the larger hole. Is there any chance we could go out for a little drive in it?
Well, I know you've been itching for a very long time.
I'm very scratchy, yeah. Thank you very much, Ben. Oh my God, this is a dream come true. This is so good, Ben. I'm not going to floor it because the road's a bit wet.
Take the revs up down there on the straight.
When
you
it,
must.
on it
you
dries
must.
out a little bit, maybe we give it a little bit of joie de vivre. There's nothing. Me. Oh my God, this is fast.
Yeah, it is. It's really quick.
I did not expect that. Oh my God. This is so quick.
Really quick, and that especially when you get into like third, fourth, it just keeps pulling. It's very talky.
Very tall. I am genuinely speechless. I did not expect that. I'm going to give it another little.
You don't have to go back anytime soon. You've got miles. Enjoy it.
Oh my God! This is so fast! I love that there is absolutely nothing and then it all comes at once.
Yeah.
The turbo lag is insane. Oh my God, you know that feeling you get when you're a passenger and you're looking, you know, at your phone and you're not looking and you feel a little bit dizzy or whatever? It gives you that as a driver.
Yeah.
That is insane.
I actually love the fact that the pedals look a bit weird in this. They're all at different points.
They're a little bit off to the left, aren't they?
But I find it easier to drive this than I do my GI Yaris. I don't know why.
It is actually really easy to drive. It's quite comfortable. Yes, the suspension is a bit firm. Obviously, it's not standard, it's on coilovers. It's really easy to heel and tow. It's really easy to rev match. The gear change actually feels really nice and direct, which I wasn't expecting because usually they feel really baggy.
And if you click the little button hidden under the right-hand side of the dashboard.
This one. Oh, the sunroof.
Yeah.
Oh,
the sunroof.
look at that. That is very cool. I
It's
like
all right,
that.
isn't it?
And also the steering feels really sharp and direct, especially for a car of this age. I mean, this is nearly 40 years old now, this car, and it feels really sharp. It feels really planted. It doesn't feel baggy. It doesn't feel loose. It doesn't feel knocky.
I do look after it.
Ben, on a day like today, the sun is out, driving like this makes me want to cry. This is what I live for, is cars like this. Do you know that?
I love cars because you can enjoy them with your friends, you can enjoy them with your family, you can enjoy them with your partner, you can enjoy them with people you've never met. If you've both got that love of cars, it doesn't matter whether you're a criminal that's just been let out or someone else, there's common ground over engines and vibrations and noises and speed and theatre, and everyone just loves it. It doesn't matter who you are. Stuff like this just makes people happy, and there's less things to be happy about in this day and age, isn't there?
Cars definitely bring people together and make people happy, and this one has made me incredibly happy, but also sad because I really want it.
You can drive it whenever you want.
I want to take it home and I want you to never drive it again. Oh. This is, do you know what? I was a bit worried because I've never driven a turbo one of these. Is it going to live up? I don't want to be disappointed. Like, I'm a bit nervous, but do you know what? It's so good. It's gone beyond any of my expectation.
And I've learned things about it I didn't even know.
You have. It's been an educational day for all of us, and I cannot believe how fast this car is.
Yeah, it's quick.
Genuinely, it is blowers. I think it's because it's quite small and it's not very well insulated. You feel like you're going faster than you are as well. So it feels even faster. It's just brilliant. I just love it. I want it. Ben, how much that?
I told you earlier.
How much that, Ben?
I told you earlier.
90-day credit?
I told you that's fine. Right interest rate.
Well, Ben, honestly, I can't thank you enough for letting me drive this car. It's the end of our little day out.
You're more than welcome.
And I am absolutely over the moon and besotted with this car. I can't thank you enough. Cheers, Ben.
No problem, bruv.
You're a diamond geezer.
Yeah, you too.
And if you've enjoyed watching this, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Bye.